Hello, everyone. It's me, Mrs. Cubbage. It is Friday, and it's time to cook. Cooking Fun with Mrs. Cubbage is sponsored by Vibrant Souls Health and Wellness. You can find them on Instagram, or you can email them at vibrantsouls@gmail.com. Well, it is the week before Thanksgiving, and well, I'm gonna make something that was technically for something 2 weeks ago. I know, it's kind of wacky, right? I did, as you know, the past few weeks talk about pumpkin seeds, right? And, I baked them and did all that. I took them out of the pumpkin, I baked them, I gave you the recipe for that as well. Sam C. and I, Mr. Cubbage and I, tasted the seeds so you could have an idea of what you might be dealing with. And now it is time to actually make a pumpkin pie. Now, my kiddos at the preschool were actually they were the inspiration for this. It was actually one little girl in particular. And she asked me, she said, Mrs. Cubbage, after taking out all this goo, and she was one of the main ones digging in and doing all that when I did the pumpkins, when I carved a pumpkin with the kiddos, she said, Mrs. Cubbage, will you make a pumpkin pie? Well, let me tell you, she is as sweet as the day is long, and I absolutely could not resist. I told her yes. Her mother said, oh, Mrs. Cubbage, you don't have to do that. She goes, that's really sweet that the kiddos want you to do that. And I said, oh my goodness, your daughter told you that she asked for that? She said, wait, it was my daughter? Because I sent out a message saying that I was going to do this. But it was interesting because the mother says, oh, Mrs. Cubbage, come on. Just buy a pie and give them to the kids. Come on, work-life balance. You don't have time for that. But I said for her daughter, I would. So when I brought the goo home and everything, and I was checking it out and I was looking, and I thought, I just don't have enough filling to make a really good, solid pumpkin pie. So, of course, what did I do? I took a little bit of her mother's advice, the work-life balance, and I bought the canned pumpkin. Okay, so that's what we have inside here. All right, so that's going to help. In fact, I'm going to make two pies, make two, and one is actually going to be for my friend and coworker, and the other one is going to be for the kiddos. So I've already put some sugar into the mix. I'm going to put in, as you can see, some imitation vanilla flavor. And I tell you what, this vanilla has lasted me for so long. Like, I don't even know when I got that. And I'm not a huge baker. I don't bake things all the time, that kind of thing. But it's actually very interesting that it has lasted through cookies and pies and cakes and all kinds of stuff. So there's that. I also have some pumpkin pie spice. And this, I believe, this is from the company Stone Mill. And I believe I got this actually at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to this is probably about 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. I put about 3 tablespoons of sugar into the mix. I'm also going to put in, and actually it's funny because it's talking about perfect for making pumpkin pie or creamy soups or adding to coffee. This is Good and Gather's evaporated milk. Vitamin D is added. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Now, I don't think I need to put a whole bunch, right? I don't need to put a whole bunch of evaporated milk in here. So I feel like that's about, maybe about, I would say, I would give that about a quarter cup. I'll say about a quarter cup. Now, I'm going to start by mixing up this, as you can see. What do you think? Look at that. As I said, I'm not a big pumpkin girl, but this does smell pretty good here. All right. Now, of course, one more thing needed, obviously. Wait, let me put certain things away just in case we have a little bit of a splash. Ooh, that sugar is heavy. Oh, and I sprinkled a little bit of, just a tiny bit of sugar in the bottom. You could get whatever type of pie crust that you would like. And I've got eggs, okay? I'm going to put 3 eggs in here, which will make two pumpkin pies, okay? So, let's go ahead on. I hope you can see this here. Here we go. That's much better. Much better. Now you can see. All right. 2. And number 3. All right. Now, here we go. Now, you can certainly, which I was never a big fan of doing this, but of course you can whip it however you like. You could use a wire whisk. You could even put it, in a mixer, in a blender, whatever it is that you have. But I think good old-fashioned, getting those arms in there. See, that's why our grandparents and great-grandparents could eat what they wanted, even our parents, because they were getting in there doing it like this, right? That reminds me of the episode of Mama's Family. If you are an 80s sitcom buff, Vicki Lawrence as Mama on the sitcom Mama's Family, and Bubba, her grandson, was at college at the time, and he was in charge of finding a band for his dance that he was in charge of. And he found a group of girls, and a group of girl rockers back then it's seemingly unheard of, I suppose. And apparently, she had them, it was hysterical, making baked goods and handicrafts with the neighbor Iola. Anyway, one of the ladies in the band, who incidentally is a Facebook friend of mine by the name of Tara Bennett, and she was playing a part of her character name was Mojo, and Mojo was learning how to mix, and Mama said, "Hey, Mojo, all you got to do is put the bowl in your arms." I'm trying not to get on my shirt. And just whip the living daylights out of it. So Mojo was mixing. And she goes, "Whoa, this is wild." And Mama says, "Yeah, you didn't know that. You didn't know that bacon could be so violent. I'll tell you, one of our favorite episodes for Mama's Family around here. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pour it in here, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end here, okay? Alrighty. Here we go. Actually, it looks very good, actually. Alright, and now I'm going to put just a little boop in there. Alright. So, put this down here, and here we go. What do you think? Well, we will put this in the oven. Believe it is supposed to be for 45 minutes, maybe 48 minutes. I will certainly check on that. And maybe Mr. Cubbage and I will come back next week. Maybe we'll do a part 2. We'll see. That'll be the day after Thanksgiving. So we'll see what we could get into. I might even do another, maybe another must go the day after. We'll see what happens. But anyway, we will let you know how the pie turned out. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We are very, very thankful for each and every one of you. So thank you so much for always tuning in and always, always showing us your love. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing, amazing Friday. Continue to enjoy these cooler fall temperatures. And I certainly hope that a few weeks ago was daylight saving. So I hope that you've caught up by now. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you again really, really soon.